If you're trying to start a business and everyone keeps telling you that you have to post on social media, but you don't want to, and honestly, you kind of hate it, well then this video is for you. Because here's the thing. You don't need social media to build a professional services business. And chances are, you're not the kind of person that advice is for anyway. I'm a professional who left corporate, built a business I actually enjoy running, and I've done it for about 2 decades without social media ever being the thing that made it work. So let's talk about why this advice is everywhere and why it doesn't apply to you. So imagine you're an airline pilot. Your job is to fly planes. You're really good at it, and you get people safely from where they are to where they want to go. And then all of a sudden, someone tells you, okay, but if you really want to be successful at this, you can't just fly the plane anymore. And now all of a sudden, you're supposed to spend your time researching the destination, figuring out which restaurants are good, writing a little guide about what people should do when they land, and then sending that guide to all the passengers, making sure that they open it, making sure that they like it, and making sure it somehow connects back to your career as a pilot, which is already a full-time job. So you do all of that, but then nobody's really reading your guide anyway, because there are tons of people whose entire job is writing travel guides, and that's what they're great at. And now you're competing with them while spending less and less time doing the thing you're actually world-class at. Meanwhile, the plane still needs to be flown, preferably safely. And if you're nodding along to that, it's probably because that's exactly what starting a business feels like right now. You're being told that in order to do the thing you're actually great at, you also need to become a content creator. You need to post, you need to publish, you need to perform. Not because it makes you better at your work, but because that's the game everyone says you have to play if you want to land clients. So you end up splitting your time between the thing you're actually skilled at and a completely different skill set you never wanted to master and probably hate doing. Then, when the posts don't lead to clients, it starts to feel like you are the problem, when really, the problem is that you're trying to win a publishing game as a professional expert. You shouldn't have to be a publisher to own your job. So, if I didn't build an audience or play the social media game, what did I actually do? When I was in corporate, I was doing well. Good job, good paycheck, good at what I did, but I knew I didn't want the rest of my life to look like that. So when I decided to leave, I didn't sit down and think, okay, how do I build an audience, or how do I become a thought leader? I just asked a much simpler question. What do I actually want to do every day, and who would happily pay me for that? So I made a very intentional choice. I got extremely clear about what I did, what I didn't do, who my work was for, and who it wasn't for. I didn't try to be everything to everyone. And once that was clear, everything else got easier. I wasn't guessing how to talk about my work. I wasn't twisting myself into content formats that I hated. And I wasn't trying to impress strangers on the internet. I could just reach out to people I already knew, go to events, have normal conversations. And then when somebody asked, so what do you do? I had a real answer. Not a vague one, not a clever one, but a clear one. And that's what made it work. Not hustle, not social media, not luck, but how it actually worked is the part that matters. Think about it like this. Imagine someone standing in a cereal aisle at the grocery store. They're scanning the shelf, deciding what to take home. And then there's this practically blank box sitting there. It's not totally unknown. Maybe a friend mentioned it once, or maybe they've seen someone else buy it. And they know it's cereal, and they know it's probably good. But when they actually stop and look at the box, there's not much there. They can't really tell what kind of cereal it is. Is it sweet or not? Is it filling or light? Is it something you'd eat every morning or regret buying after one bowl? The cereal inside that box might be incredible, but standing there in the aisle, all they have to go on is whatever the box tells them. And when the box is vague or generic or trying to say a little bit of everything, it's hard for them to feel confident picking it up or confidently telling somebody else, oh yeah, you should definitely try this one. And this is exactly what happens when you start a professional services business. You might be really good at what you do, and you probably already have people who know you and respect your work. And they might even say things to other people like, oh yeah, they're great. But when it comes time to actually decide to work with you or explain what you do to somebody else, there's a pause. Not because there's anything wrong with you or your work, but because it's hard to clearly describe what you do, who it's for, and why it matters. Just like that cereal box, when the outside isn't clear, people hesitate. They don't feel confident picking it, and they don't feel confident describing it either. That's why great businesses start with branding. And I'm not talking about your logo or your colors. Those things do matter, just later. At its core, branding is about clarity. It's about being able to clearly answer what you do, who it's actually for, why it matters, and how it's different from the other options out there. And if you want to go deeper on what that actually looks like, I've got other videos breaking this down step by step. But the big idea is just this: clarity comes first. And when your branding is clear, the outside of the box finally matches how good the cereal is inside. And once that's clear, something interesting starts to happen. So now, imagine that same cereal again, but this time the box is actually doing its job. The name makes sense. The front tells you exactly what it is, who it's for, and why somebody would want it. Now picture one person picking it up. They don't need to study it. They don't need to guess. They just take it home, try it, and it's exactly what the box promised. A week later, they're talking to a friend, and without thinking about it, they say, "Oh, you should try this. It's exactly the kind of cereal you like." They don't stumble over how to explain it. They don't overthink it. The words just kind of come out because the box already did the work for them. Then one person turns into two, and then two turns into a few more. And on it goes. Not because anyone's pushing it, but because it's finally easy to talk about. And this is what that looks like in real life. Once your business has that brand clarity, people don't need help explaining you anymore. Conversations get simpler, and when somebody asks, "What do?" you don't ramble, you don't over-explain, and you don't watch their eyes glaze over. And when your name comes up in a conversation that you're not even in, the person talking about you doesn't struggle either. They know how to describe you, they know that you're a good fit, and they know when not to recommend you, which actually makes the recommendation stronger. And that's why this works so well, especially early on. You're not trying to convince strangers on social media, you're just making it easy for the people who already know you to understand how you can help them or how to confidently pass your name along, because the cereal box finally makes sense. So if you've been feeling like social media is something you have to do to start and grow your business, but every part of you resists it, now you know why. You don't need to shout into the social media void. You need to start with clarity, because once your brand makes sense, once it's easy to understand and easy to talk about, everything else gets simpler, including how people find you. And if you're in that early stage right now, there are a bunch of other common mistakes that trip people up after they avoid the social media trap. And I break those down in the next video, so make sure you watch that one next.